almost saw a couple 80-year-olds come to blows the other day.
Oh, I love that.
Pickleball court. Yeah, one guy was razzing the other guy when he missed like 3 in a row. And he was just like muttering and just down and just like having a bad time. And I'm like, and he was my partner. I'm like, I'm thinking like, dude, easy, lay off of him, like he's already down. And then his partner goes, you're gonna kick him when he's down? And he's like, yeah, I'm just having fun out here. And he goes, yeah, well, knock it off. And they both come to net and they're like jawing it up and everything. And I'm like, here we go.
Oh man, that would be. I would love it. It takes them 5 minutes to get across the court to get to the net.
No, I think what Will's pointing out though is if you compare the 80-year-olds now compared to the 80-year-olds of their generation, like their 80-year-old parents or grandparents, people are so much more healthier.
Oh my gosh.
They are in such better shape.
Well, this guy had a triple bypass and he was playing pickleball in 5 weeks.
Yeah, they're getting bypass surgeries. They all have,
and they're not like anything.
Hips.
They just like lift up the shirt and like, yep, got the scar.
They're like Terminator.
Yeah, like it's my serve.
Gee whiz. It makes me think what, us, but then our kids, what they're going to be like. So,
man.
One of my kids was saying, they're like, oh yeah, I learned in school today that we're probably going to live to be 120. And I'm like, you're not going to retire until you're 90.
Right.
So 60 would be just middle-aged. That's like right in the middle.
I think
40.
I think that they should come out, that they should really develop these ectoskeletons things, where, your knees are shot. Instead of doing all the knee replacements and all that stuff, the back replacements, the head replacements, just put a thing that you get in.
Yeah, like Avatar.
Yeah, and you just like run around, ting, 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 smash.
That's what our society needs. Everybody to be in heavy-duty war-based armor.
Speaking of that, Avatar 2 comes out in like 2 weeks.
So I keep looking for a Rotten Tomatoes on that, and they're like holding on to that like it's money.
It hasn't. Nobody's seen it yet.
Yeah, but they usually have reviews ahead of time. It seems like
give it a week. Give it one more.
That's because they're scared, I think.
No, it's gonna be the greatest film ever.
You think with a big movie like that those reviews are real, or do you think they're bought? They're
probably bought. They've spent $1 billion on this movie.
It's funny. I saw, Black Adam, that movie that came out.
Yeah.
With The Rock. I never saw it. It did not like appeal to me. I couldn't. I don't know. I'm barely like The Rock's fine, but I'm not like a Rock movie lover guy, right? Anyways, one of the reviews, it's like 5 stars. This is the best superhero movie of the year. And in the tiniest font, it said who the reviewer was. And somebody looked at it. I saw this a tweet where they're like, let's see who this person is. They searched them out, and it was someone with a Twitter account who reviews movies, who has like 50 followers.
Just a rando.
Yeah.
That's so good.
They'll take anything. No, but
that's so good.
I mean, when you're talking about James Cameron, who has such a track record, like who hasn't had a flop ever, the guy, this could be his first flop, right? Or it could be just another solid movie.
What is a flop? Because some of the dialogue in Titanic was horrible.
I'm talking like financial and critical,
and the dialogue
overall,
in Avatar, the first one,
cheesy stuff. But Avatar, the first
there was some real cheese in the first one.
Enjoyable movie to watch, though.
Unobtainium.
Okay, but
not great.
That's stupid.
And you guys are feeding right into the point there. What kind of dumb name would a corporate company give to their like metal that they're mining? A stupid name like unobtainium.
No.
Did you see the science character roll their eyes when he said that? Everyone's like, oh, it's such a dumb name. That's the point. It's supposed to be a dumb name. That's what they
will. Gotta be a little smarter.
Jake is an apologist for all these writers.
I loved Avatar, the first one. I mean, I know it's got its fault. I know it's based on what was Fern Gully or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Well, what about the trope that the military is always
Doesn't
bad?
bother me.
Military bad. You know that going
well,
in, so there's no surprise there, you know?
no. This isn't the military. These are mercenaries. These are corporate hired,
Right.
like ex-military dudes that are
Right.
just doing
They're
it for
always
the
bad.
money. That's always
They are
bad.
always bad.
Always bad.
That's like it's Blackwater or whatever.
Well,
Anyway,
I worry with Avatar that they're going to get in the same situation as Frozen, where they didn't need to make a Frozen 2, but they have to because it was so successful. And then there's no story. They already told the story.
the difference
So-
between Avatar and Frozen, I can't believe I had to say that sentence, but the difference between Avatar and Frozen is James Cameron, number one, is an actual like artist who knows what he's doing when it comes to filmmaking. If you've ever
Mhm.
seen the making of Frozen 2, what a train wreck. I
Oh,
can't believe
really?
I've heard of that,
Disney made
yeah.
a six-part documentary on it and put on Disney Plus. And halfway through it, I was like, how did they allow this to be on Disney Plus?
Oh wait, they're
they're
admitting like they don't know what they're doing, or
They're saying
Yeah.
that same thing about this new Strange World movie, whatever that one is,
Mhm.
the Disney one. They're saying
Mhm.
that's a total flop. They went
Yeah,
political.
they haven't marketed that thing at
They went
all.
political, and so that's it.
But-
you know,
But the point I was going to make is Frozen was like this backwards hit, like yeah, let's make this movie and we'll put these songs in it, and it was this huge hit, and so let's make a sequel to it because we've got all these Frozen fans and they want more.
Mhm.
Avatar from the get-go was like, I want it to be a 4-film thing. I'm going to do the first film just to as a almost like a proof of concept. Like, if I can make this first one work, then I'm going to go back, take 10 years and make these other films. So he's
Wow.
filmed 2 more. I mean,
Oh, I
there's
didn't
2.
realize that. Oh.
Yeah. So we're getting a third one. And then he's like, I'm not going to start number 4 until I know if 2 did well. So if 2 flops, he's still going to come out with 3, and then that'll be it.
Hmm.
I want to bring up one
Okay.
other thing. So Lee was telling us about his over the weekend. He was I got the flu this weekend, and so we were texting. I was missing stuff, right? I wasn't seeing texts, I wasn't paying attention. And Lee sends this whole, and he's going to get into it, this whole thing about a job offer that he got and how they completely lowballed him. But I want you to notice in our text thread, right after you said that, you go, Jake, is Andor worth watching? And then I send over like a full text thread of like,
yeah,
why
all
you
about
should watch
Andor.
Andor.
I missed the whole
You wake me up out of my
illustration thread.
stupor.
That's true. You came to life when I mentioned anything about the Star Wars universe.
Right. But
How does Disney do this? I'm looking up Strange World right now. 1.5 stars out of 5. How do they do that? Audience rating summary. They're Disney, for crying out loud. They have every resource available to them.
Well, some people would say it's Bob Chapek, who they just fired. He
Why was he hired?
He replaced Bob Iger, and I don't know but he was in there for 9 months, and they brought Bob Iger back in, and they say he made a bunch of poor decisions. And actually, if you heard what he said about animation, animated movies, he's like, Disney, essentially I can't remember the exact quote, but it was like shocking, and it was, adults don't want to see animated films. They're just for kids, and we're not going to put as much time and effort into them.
What?
And Strange World was one of these films that was under his.
Yeah, well, adults go with their kids, and they want to enjoy it too.
Strange World.
Yeah,
And they've always catered to adults with the humor.
So I think that's why
like
it didn't
Shrek.
get it. I think that's why this film was sort of left on its own. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm only like tangentially in the animation world now these days, but I think that film was sort of left on its own, and both marketing wise and just like overseeing, like quality control wise. Who knows?
And listen to this headline: Strange World to lose $147 million.
Mm-hmm. That's nothing for Disney,
That's
though.
gotta sting, man.
That's
That still
nothing for
has to
Disney.
sting.
It's nothing for the Disney company, but you know
Right.
that animation team, like that is oh shoot, are we gonna have layoffs?
They
type
probably
of-
knew it as they were working on it. You know when you're working on a stinky project. You
That's
know
what
it.
I always ask the
I
concept
do.
artists who we've talked to, and nobody wants to ever answer that. But remember, you're on the film for 3 years or whatever,
Yeah,
and
you
then
know
what
about it.
happens when you know it's starting to go
Yeah.
south? Hey, speaking of animated films going south, there's a little film out of, I think Leica did it out of Portland. It's called Wendell and Wild. It came out about a month ago. Did you guys see
Mhm.
it?
Is with Key and Peele? Was it the like the Halloween one?
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
see
I
it?
only saw the trailer for it.
So it's, if you liked Nightmare Before Christmas, I wanted to watch it because I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Very classic kind of
Mhm.
Halloween tale. And this one has the same look. It's out of Portland, and so it's got just this quirky thing. It was the worst film I have ever seen. It was
Oh, really?
a storytelling mess combined
Mhm.
with some of the most beautiful stop motion and just animation that you've
You
ever
just
seen.
described all of pretty much every stop motion
Mhm.
film I've ever seen.
It's true. Well, I tell you, Kubo and the Two Strings was amazing.
Yeah,
Did you see that one?
Kubo's
great one.
good.
Visuals
I-
cannot save a bad story.
Man, they were all they had like probably you could have taken any one of the 7 huge storylines that were going on at the same time and
Mhm.
just made that its own movie.
Mhm.
And they were just all
kinda-
and it was crazy.
Yeah.
You got to watch it for that. It's just like, yeah, I mean, how are like Will said, how are they watching this when they're making it saying, "Oh my God, we have 7 storylines happening right now, and any one of them is giant." You can't
You
wrap
know
them
what I
all
think
up.
it is? You have essentially to get a date, a release date, takes all kinds of like moving mountains to be like, okay, we've got a date. Our film comes out this weekend, right?
Mhm.
There's marketing money going into that. There's, there's dealings behind scenes, like making sure that this other film doesn't come out that weekend so that you can have space for your film to come out. Well, all that stuff's going on. And it doesn't care. That whole machine doesn't care if your movie's ready or not. Your movie
Mm.
has to come out. And so I think they're like, well, we're just going to go with the story we've got because we have to animate this thing. It takes forever to animate a stop motion film.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what happened. For the record, I'm not a huge fan of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Really?
So that's not a selling
How dare you?
point for me when you say if you like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, that's how my relationship is with Star Wars. You know,
How-
there's attributes to it, but I'm not a giant.
I need to
Yeah.
know more, Jake. Like, my opinion of you is changing as we speak right now.
Oh, really? Are you a big Nightmare Before Christmas fan?
What could be better?
It's an amazing movie. Are you kidding me?
I
I will
don't
say the
like
first
it.
time that I saw it, I was so blown away by the visuals. But then when they were, I didn't know it was a musical, and I'm not a giant musicals fan, and so it took me
We're
a
gonna
while
have
to
to do
come
this
around.
over lunch. This is a longer conversation.
Hey, let me
So-
correct myself. It wasn't Leica who did that. A lot of artists from Portland did apparently work on it, but it's not a Leica-based film. So I just want to correct myself.
Like, it's like,
Essentially-
don't link us with that.
Yeah, please.
Right.
No, Leica actually makes good. There's some good films coming out of Leica.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I thought Paranorman was cool. That's a good Halloween movie.
Yeah.
There's
Fun one to watch.
Box Trolls had some cool stuff about it.
That was.
We could just riff like this for an hour. Call
Well,
it
this
good.
is what we do before every meeting, and so that's why it takes so long.
You know, we
gonna
should
talk
we should-
about Lee's project that he got offered some kind of $600 for.
Let's intro in and then talk about that one. But
Okay.
in case this
Okay.
is side banter, but on a side note of our side banter, we should all watch one movie a week and then just do a movie review and have a separate podcast for it.
That's true.
That'd be
I
fun.
love that. We should do
I
that.
bet it would do better than our regular podcast.
I know. 3-point perspective movie edition.
I
That's
actually
what
like
we-
that idea.
It'd be called 3-point perspective at the movies.
Perfect. Perfect.
And Yeah, and it'd be, you'd want to see the film if it has 3 thumbs up.
Hey, dude, if we did that, we could actually write off like the IMAX tickets and stuff that we go to.
That's true.
Oh,
And all
yeah,
the,
that's true.
we could fly out to
All
movie
the
premieres,
drinks,
write that all off.
everything. All right, this is a done deal. If you see us on the red carpet, you're going to know it started right here with our banter. But I'm serious. That would be fun. We could do it, and then we could write off our. This is how my brain works on 24/7. What do I like to do, and then how can I write it off? That's like the two things that happen simultaneously with me.
I know. He's skiing the other day, and he texts and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm gonna get a ski chalet, like a cabin on the side of the mountain. I just don't know how. I'm just figuring out how I can get it for free."
There's ways. I'm close to figuring out the matrix of getting a free ski condo.
We'll
I'll
get
let you guys
while
know
you're
how
at
it
it.
goes. Know if I
one
can
for me
swing
too.
too. This is some complex, complex
All right, here
level
we go.
write-offs here.
I'm gonna bring us in.